year 2021, in Great Britain, the quiet town of Plymouth became the center of a harrowing mystery. Bobbi-Anne McLeod, a young 18-year-old, informed her parents that she was heading out to meet her boyfriend. However, as the hours passed, it became apparent that something was terribly wrong. Bobbi-Anne lived with her parents, Donna and Adrian, and her brother Lee in the lively coastal town of Plymouth, nestled in the southwest of England. The town boasted a rich history and maritime heritage, drawing in tourists and locals alike with its stunning waterfront and vibrant downtown. On November 20th, 2021, around 5:45 p.m., Bobbi-Anne left her home in the Liam area, making her way to the nearest bus stop on Sheepstore Road. She bid her father farewell, expressing her love for him, and revealed her plans to meet her boyfriend and their mutual friends downtown. The bus route was familiar to her, having taken it numerous times before. As time ticked by without any word from Bobbi-Anne, her mother Donna grew worried. She texted her daughter to check if she was okay and had reached her destination, but received no response. Frantic, Donna tried calling her, but Bobbi-Anne's phone remained unanswered, an uncommon occurrence for the young girl. Hours later, Bobbi-Anne's boyfriend reached out to her parents, concerned that she hadn't shown up for their date. All his attempts to contact her had failed. As they called all of her known friends, it became evident that nobody knew of her whereabouts. Fearing the worst, Bobbi-Anne's family immediately contacted the police and reported her missing. The next day, on November 21st, 2021, a massive search operation commenced. The police, along with the MacLeod family and volunteers, scoured the area for any sign of Bobbi-Anne. Leaflets displaying her photograph were distributed throughout Plymouth, and her disappearance spread like wildfire on social media and in the news. Investigators quickly learned that Bobbi-Anne was supposed to take a bus downtown, but they soon discovered that she never boarded it. A local resident confirmed seeing her at the bus stop the previous evening. The presence of her wireless headphones behind the bus stop confirmed her presence there. With this crucial information, authorities began to suspect that Bobbi-Anne might have been abducted. Urging the public for any relevant information, a large team of officers worked tirelessly to find her. Efforts were made to trace the location of Bobbi-Anne's cell phone, which showed it was still within the city limits. However, the exact location remained elusive, as all calls to her number were forwarded to voicemail. Eventually, the police obtained her phone from the bus driver, who was on the same route where Bobbi-Anne had vanished. As the investigation continued, the town of Plymouth held its breath, hoping for the safe return of Bobbi-Anne MacLeod. The answers to her mysterious disappearance still remained shrouded in uncertainty. Evening and found the phone and an AirPods case there at 7:23 p.m. A bus arrived, and the man handed the items he found to the bus driver, assuming the owner would look for them. When the bus driver learned the next day that Bobbi-Anne was missing and last seen standing at the bus stop, he contacted the police and handed them the phone and AirPods case. On November 22nd, police, family, and volunteers conducted extensive searches in the fields, woodlands, and roads surrounding the area where Bobbi-Anne lived. However, no significant clues were discovered. The following evening, on November 23rd, police made a grim announcement that a woman's body had been found at Bobbie-Anne Beach, about 8 miles from the bus stop. The body was located in a wooded area, approximately half a mile from the shore. During the identification process, it was tragically confirmed that the body belonged to Bobbi-Anne. Her death sent shockwaves through her family and friends. A heartfelt vigil was held near the bus stop where she was last seen, where Donna MacLeod, Bobbi-Anne's mother, tearfully paid tribute to her daughter and thanked everyone for their support. Days after the body's discovery, on November 23rd, a man walked into the downtown police station, claiming to have information about the missing girl. He confessed to kidnapping and taking Bobbi-Anne's life, providing some details of the crime. The police were led to the location where he had left the body, and there they found Bobbi-Anne, lifeless. The man responsible for the horrific crime was identified as 24-year-old Cody Ackland, who lived in close proximity to the bus stop. Ackland's background was that of a musician and songwriter for a local indie rock band, Rakuta. However, unbeknownst to those around him, he harbored a dark fascination with serial killers from around the world. Cody Ackland was arrested as the prime suspect, and his belongings, including his car, phone, and computer, were seized by the police as part of the investigation. A statement issued on his behalf claimed that he took full responsibility for Bobbie-Anne's death and confirmed that he had no prior connection to the victim. As the investigation continued, the authorities tried to comprehend the shocking turn of events that had unfolded in their quiet town. D'Angelo Jr., Andre Chikatilo, Ivan Milo, Fred West, and Tommy Sells topped Ackland's personal ranking of serial killers. However, it was Ted Bundy who held his utmost attention, with his unknown number of victims estimated to be at least 30. Ackland's morbid fascination with Bundy's atrocities was evident as investigators uncovered 3,216 disturbing and dark images on his phone, reminiscent of horror films. In the days leading up to Bobbie-Anne's tragic demise, Ackland immersed himself in researching information about serial killers and their crimes. He also searched for remote locations on Dartmoor and potential weapons, showing clear intent in his sinister plans. On the day of Bobbie-Anne's abduction, Ackland visited an online sports store website, browsing items like baseball bats, ski masks, and waterproof clothing. Despite his sinister interests and extensive research, Ackland had never caught the attention of the police or been in any legal trouble before. The decision to commit such a heinous crime seemed to arise from a clandestine hobby that spiraled out of control. Bobbie-Anne, an innocent victim, tragically crossed paths with Ackland that evening, becoming the target of his malevolent intentions. When Bobbie-Anne arrived at the bus stop around 6:15 p.m., Ackland spotted her and parked his Ford Fiesta nearby. After observing her for a few minutes and ensuring no witnesses were present, Ackland approached Bobbie-Anne from behind and struck her twice with the hammer he had purchased earlier. Believing she was dead, he returned to his car to leave the scene, only to realize Bobbie-Anne was still alive. In a heartless act, he moved her into his car and drove her to a remote parking lot in Dartmoor. Arriving at the Bellover Forest parking lot at 7:45 p.m., Ackland thought of leaving the body there, but when he saw that Bobbie-Anne was still alive, he chose to inflict further harm. He struck her 12 more times, trying to eliminate any evidence. After burning Bobbie-Anne's purse, he loaded her body into the trunk of his car and drove to Bovisand, nearly 30 miles away, where he concealed the body. The following day, on November 21st, Ackland acted as if nothing had happened. He spent time with friends, attended his band's rehearsal, and appeared in an unusually good mood, a stark contrast to his usual demeanor. On November 22nd, Ackland continued to act casually, going to the movies and enjoying himself while the police, family, and volunteers tirelessly searched for Bobbie-Anne. Ultimately, Ackland's heinous actions would be discovered, and the truth of Bobbie-Anne's tragic fate would come to light, exposing the darkness that lurked within this seemingly ordinary young man. On November 23rd, while Cody Ackland was at his non-music related job at a car service company, he kept track of the latest news on his phone. During his lunch break, Ackland sent a message to a chat room where members of his music group Rakuta were present. He wrote, "Love you guys," and at the same time he texted his mother expressing his love for her. Afterward, he headed to the police station and shockingly confessed to the heinous crime. Upon hearing the tragic news, Ackland's bandmates issued a statement on Facebook, announcing the immediate disbandment of Rakuta as a mark of respect to Bobbie-Anne McLeod. They expressed shock and disbelief at the events that had unfolded and extended their thoughts and prayers to Bobbie-Anne's grieving family and friends. In addition to Ackland's confession, the police amassed a wealth of physical evidence against him, including Bobbie-Anne's DNA found in his car and on sneakers recovered from his home. However, when asked about his motive for the crime, Ackland refused to provide details, leaving investigators puzzled. Detective Mike West, who led the investigation, did not rule out the possibility of Ackland eventually revealing more information about his motives after further contemplation. The trial commenced in May 2022, during which Ackland's attorney, Ray Tully, presented evidence from psychiatrists who determined that Ackland was not suffering from a mental illness. However, they acknowledged that he had struggled during his childhood, diagnosed with ADHD, dyslexia, depression, and anxiety. By the age of 19, he had a history of 7 years of depression. Tully emphasized that Ackland did not receive much emotional support from his home or school life, with absent father figures contributing to his struggles. During the sentencing, Judge Robert Linford condemned Ackland's actions as determined savagery. The evidence indicated that Ackland intended to kill Bobbie-Anne, and her tragic death had cut short her promising life. The judge handed down a life sentence, specifying that Ackland must spend a minimum of 31 years in prison before becoming eligible to apply for parole. With Ackland behind bars, the community sought solace in the hope that justice had been served for Bobbie-Anne McLeod, even as they mourned the loss of a young life that was taken so brutally and prematurely.